Good morning, friends, and welcome to our 12th Standard Physics lecture, online lecture. The chapter we are continuing is the electromagnetic induction. The same chapter we are going to continue. This is the third part. Now, in the previous lecture, that is the last second lecture, we have seen the application of Lenz's law. Then we have seen the motion of magnet towards the loop. Then we have seen the energy conservation of Lenz's law. And then we have seen last part, that is the motional electromagnetic force. In last lecture, that is electromagnetic force. Now we saw Faraday's law previous lecture. What is the Faraday's law? There are two laws, first law and the second law, and then we had the Lenz law. Then we saw the last point which we discussed was the motional electromotive force. In that we saw first was the translation motion. In this we have seen two equations. And just have a review of it before that, before starting the lecture. And today's lecture we are going to see motion electromagnetic force, but it is the rotational motion, or you can say the rotating for the rotating bar. First we saw for the translation motion, and now we are going to see EMF for rotating bar. So what is the similarity you can see between those two equations? And then today, whatever we are going to take is there on the blackboard. Here we are going to see motion EMF in a rotating bar, as I told you now. Then induction and energy transfer, then eddy currents, which are very important, and then we'll just have a brief introduction of self-inductance, children. So go through the chapter and just go through the textbook and see what is deleted. What is deleted we are not taking, and what is there for your syllabus we are considering that only. So we'll just have a look at the PPT. Yes, so we're going to see the part 3 of electromagnetic induction. It's a very important topic syllabus in your syllabus, children. The contents which we're going to see is the motional EMF in a rotating bar. So I told you in the previous lectures, we have seen the motional EMF for a translation motion of a bar. That is, the bar is moving in the translation, in a straight line. Then we saw the induction, and we are going to see the induction and energy transfer, and then we'll see eddy currents. So before seeing this will have a review of what we have seen previously. We'll go to the slide, that is the lectures which we have taken before. Here, the topic which we had taken was motional electromotive force. In that we saw the EMF which we have derived. If there is a, if you consider a ABCD, that is a rectangular frame of area Lx, is situated in the constant magnetic field. It is shown by the spaces are equal. So that means it is the constant field, and L is the length of this. Here you can see BC is a L. And if this is moved with velocity v, there is a changing in the magnetic field, because of which there is the induced EMF. So that induced EMF, it is because of the change in the magnetic field, that is a magnetic flux also. Field means field is made up of magnetic lines of force, and that is called as flux. And then equation we derived was E is equal to d phi upon dt. Then we have taken dlx, and whatever is constant term coming out of the derivative, and then we have bl. So this was one of the relation which we saw. And the next one, the second method in which we are considering here the work done. Now work done is nothing. You see, when you're whenever there is a force exerted, or if you're taking BC towards left, because with the speed v towards the right side, then a force is exerted, and because of which the work is done. So that is work done, W is equal to F dot L. And by Lorentz force, we know it is force is nothing but Q V cross B bar dot L. And then we have it as QVB sine theta dot L. Or then we have, we know that electromotive force E is equal to what? Work done upon charge. So now this is the work done, QVB sine theta L upon Q. So that is equal to VB sine theta dot L. So this is E. Now for theta equal to 90 for maximum theta, this is maximum, E is maximum when theta is 90. So E max equal to BLV. So in the previous translation motion for the conductor by the other method, that is by applying the Faraday's law, we got BLV, and here also by the work done, we are considering the Lorentz force. In that case also E max we are getting BLV. Now the induced EMF is the time derivative of flux phi regardless of the shape of the circuit. So it is the induced EMF is time derivative of flux phi irrespective of the shape. Then now we have seen here we can see that this is the charge, it is moving from C to B. At that time we are getting that work done performed W is equal to FL. We have seen that. This is a frame of wire ABCD in magnetic field B. Wire BC is moving with velocity V along x-axis. So we can see that it is moving along the x-axis. So this is the speed V. Then we have got B E is equal to BLV. So in both the cases, in translation motion first case also we have got BLV, and for the second also E max equal to BLV. Now today's chapter, in today's part, we are again going to see the second part of this motional electromotive force. This is the motional EMF in a rotating bar. This is the B part. That was the first A part. Now we are going to see motional EMF in a rotating bar. So motional EMF in a rotating bar. Now see, you consider this, the small bar is there, and you're going to take a part of it, dr, and for this EMF will be small dE, isn't it? And it is moving with speed v. So see here, a conducting bar rotating around a pivot at one end in a uniform magnetic field that is perpendicular to the plane of rotation. A rotational EMF is induced between the end of the bar. So see here children, it is pivoted. Pivoted means what? It is fixed at one point and then it is moving, it can move in this direction. You can see it is fixed at one point here. Now consider, and this is taken a uniform magnetic field, so it is shown with the equal spaces. This is shown by the equal spaces. Then consider a small segment dr of the bar at a distance r from the pivot. At a distance r, see here, remember this. In a short length dr of the conductor which is moving with velocity v in the magnetic field B and has an induced EMF generated in it like a sliding bar. It's like a sliding bar. Then now we know that the induced EMF dE in the small segment dr of the rotating conductor. So we know because of this small element which we are considering, we are having the small element dE. Now we know that in the previous equations we have seen for the translation motion, E is equal to what? BLV or BVL, whatever. So here for the small element, the small length is dr. So instead of L we are taking here dr. So dE is equal to BV dr. Now this is for the small element. Now total induced EMF in rotating rod. Now we want to find out for the total rod. So for the total rod, we have the summation of all the drs, or you can say the integration. So E is equal to integration of BE, which is equal to integration BV dr. Now what is V? We know it is equal to omega r. So we'll just substitute that value, integration B omega r dr. Now whatever is the constant term will come outside. So B omega is taken outside and r is changing 0 to L, isn't it? So The length is L. So 0 to L, you are taking that length. So the limits are from 0 to 1. Then 0 to 1 r dr. So like x dx. So it is x square upon 2. We know that. And then the value of maximum value of r is L. So b, that is E equal to b omega L square upon 2. So that E is equal to half b omega L square. So compare this above result with the induced EMF in sliding bar. E is equal to BL. You can see the comparison between these two, what it is. Understood? So this is for the motional EMF. E is equal to half B omega L square. It is for the motional EMF in a rotating bar. And for the sliding bar, it is E is equal to BL. Getting it, students? Now, we'll move on to the next topic or the next content, that is induction and energy transfer. This is also very important. In this, we'll see at the end, we are going to prove that the work done, the mechanical work done, it is nothing but equal to the rate of heat energy, you can see. So we'll see that how they are equated. Now see here, consider a loop ABCD. Here we are again going to apply Faraday's law and Lenz's law. So now consider a loop ABCD moving with constant velocity V in a constant magnetic field B as shown in the figure A. So see here, this is ABCD is the loop. Okay, first it was here in the constant magnetic field. You can see that. But when it is pulled out, so we can see that P is the velocity by which it is pulled out. Then the velocity is P, constant velocity is P. So a current I is induced in the loop in clockwise direction. So what happens? The current I is induced in the loop, getting it in the clockwise direction. To pull the loop at a constant velocity V towards right, it is required to apply an external force F. So one external force F is required to pull this out. Now here we can see one, we can notice here that as we have pulled this V from here, the space here, so the flux is decreased. So because of the decreasing in the flux, what has happened? The magnetic field is also decreased here. The flux is decreased, and because of this change in the flux, we have the induced current I in this. And because of this, we have here you can see on the face AB, the forces F2 and F3. So these forces are equal and opposite, they cancel each other. You can see that. And here we can see that because of this, it is pulled this side. Because of that, it exerts a force on the opposite direction. Then here it is a loop. A loop is moving out of the magnetic field with velocity v. And here induced EMF. See here, this induced EMF. Because of this current, the EMF is induced EMF, and induced current I and collective resistance R of the loop. So here we can see this loop. Then the rate of doing work on the loop is P is equal to. So we know the rate of work is what? Nothing but energy or power. P is equal to work W upon time. Now what is work? Work is force into displacement. So we'll write displacement upon time is nothing but velocity. So P is equal to force F into velocity. So it is F dot V. Then because it is pulled this side, it exerts a force. So this is given by Lenz's law. It exerts a force in the opposite direction. We know that the magnitude of magnetic flux through the loop is phi B equal to B dot A. We know this flux B is equal to B dot A is the area of the loop. So that is equal to B dot Lx, L, because L is the length like this AD and X is this length. So this is the area. So as X decreases, the flux decreases. So see here, as x decreases, quite obvious, when x is decreasing, see here, x is decreasing. Here, so much only magnetic field is there. So what happens? Because of that, x decreases. So obviously, magnetic flux decreases. So according to Faraday's law, the magnitude of induced EMF, E mod. So you're taking the magnitude, so we'll not consider the direction. So we'll not consider the negative sign. So here E equal to d phi by dt, mod of d phi by dt. That is equal to d by dt. Now by Lenz's law, we have to write here what? So see here E equal to d phi by dt. Now for phi, you are going to put this value from 12.19 equation BLX. Now here d by dt of BLX. Now BLX means what? BL you take, it is a constant term. B and L is not going to change. So take it out of derivative and then it becomes dx upon dt. So here again BLB. So this equation we have derived earlier. We have seen that. Now the induced EMF E is represented on the left and the collective resistance R of the loop on the right. The direction of the induced current I is obtained by RH loop. So this is for the same, this diagram, this here. You can see this is the induced EMF, the direction of the current is like this is the resistance. Now, here the magnitude of induced current I can be written as, so I is equal to, by Ohm's law we know, I is equal to V upon R or E upon R. Now what is E from this equation? E is BLV upon R. I is equal to E upon R, which is equal to BLV upon R. Then, now I told you earlier, here you can see that these forces are F2 and F3. They are how? They are opposite to each other, so they cancel each other and they don't contribute for the EMF. So what counts is this F1 and this is the opposite force, which balances that force. So the magnitude of F1 can be written as, so F1 is equal to what? Is perpendicular to the magnetic field, isn't it? So when it is perpendicular, so this will not count because it is along the direction of B. So it is ILB, it will become sine 0, isn't it? So because of that, this F2 and F3 don't count. But what counts? Force F1 and here the opposite force to it. Why? Because it is perpendicular to the magnetic field. And so we know that F1 mod is equal to ILB sine theta or BIL. Just tell it like simply BIL or ILB. Now sine 90 is maximum, so it is 1. So that is F1 is equal to F vector. Now from the equation, above equation and this equation, we have F is equal to F1. We know F is equal to, because these are oppositely, see you can see the direction, this force is directed opposite. So this is balanced by the other force which is opposite to this. And this force we know, we have seen it in 12.21. What is that? We have got it equal to I is equal to BLV upon R. So from that equation, we will write if F is equal to F1 and that is equal to ILB, and then we'll write, substitute the value of I from the above equation. So it comes what? BLV upon R dot or dot LB. So that is equal to what? B square L square P upon R. This is 12.23 equation, and from the starting equation which we had seen, that is from equation 12.18 and 12.23, this equation. And the rate of doing mechanical work, that is power. So that we have seen, I have told you, the rate of doing mechanical work is nothing but F dot V. F dot V. So from here, F value is what? This. So write down here, V square L square P upon R dot V, which is equal to V square L square V square upon R. So rate of production of heat energy P is equal to, we know by Joule's law what? P is equal to I square R, isn't it? So this is the rate of production of heat energy, I square RT. But if T is 1, isn't it? So rate of production of heat energy. So from equation 12.21, from the above equation, and equation 12.25. So what we have? P is equal to what? I square. Now where is I? This I we have seen initially that I is BLV upon R. So I square dot R. So if we just multiply, P is equal to B square L square V square upon R. So you can see that from this equation here, the rate of doing mechanical work, that is power, P dot V, we have got P is equal to B square L square V square upon R. And from this equation also, that is 12.26 equation, P is equal to B square L square V square upon R. So both these equations are equal. That means the rate of doing mechanical work, that is power, is equal to the rate of production of heat energy. See here, because of this mechanical work, heat is generated. Remember. So the rate here we can compare 12.24 and 12.26. That rate of doing mechanical work, that is power, is equal to rate of production of heat energy. So this is a very important equation, children. So please derive this equation. Sometimes this question is asked for 4 marks in board exam. The next point which we are about to take is the eddy currents. So the same principle applies here. What is eddy currents? What is the meaning of eddy? Now, instead of a loop, if loop is taken, only one electrons, the electrons, they move in only one direction, in one ring, you can say. But here, instead of a single loop or a wire, a plate is taken. See here, the relative motion between conductor and magnetic field induces a current in the conductor plate. Now see here, this is instead of a loop. Okay, we have seen that ABCD, we have seen that wire is there. So instead of that wire, we have taken here what now? A conductor plate. So what happens if we take this? Is there any change going to happen? Yes, something happens. What happens? Here, you will see that because this is placed, this plate is placed here. What happens is, because there are a number of electrons, this plate is made up of number of electrons and all are moving. Suppose they are moving in all one direction, then it looks like a whirlpool. You know, in the, we can see sometimes in the sea how it is the turbulent motion. You can see that there is a whirlpool. So the same thing happens here when there is a when we take this conductor plate and change it is placed in a changing magnetic field. Either magnetic field is taken away or front, or magnetic field is nothing but you can have the magnetic field because of the magnet, isn't it? So now see here, the relative motion between conductor and magnetic field induces a current in the conductor plate. The conduction electrons making up the induced current do not follow one path but swirl about within the plate as if they were caught in an eddy of water. Such a current is called an eddy current. So see here, children. So see here, if it is pivoted at one place, then you will see the number of currents are arising, and they form what? They form eddy currents. Now what happens because of this eddy currents? See here, if this is taken, there are a number of, it is pivoted, fixed at one point, and if you just move it, what happens is, every time it moves like a pendulum, the mechanical energy is transferred into heat energy. So whenever it is moving like a pendulum. So at a point what happens, if the total energy is over, then it stops. But here what happens is, because it is a plane conductor here, But so it stops, or you can say it doesn't move. The pendulum doesn't move. But if it is slotted like this, so the what happens is because of the eddy currents, the motion is stopped. But because it is slotted, this structure, it is it is restructured in such a way that you can see there are gaps, and because of this, the eddy currents are stopped. You will see that the induced current in the conductor plate is responsible for transfer of the mechanical energy into heat energy. So we have seen that equation also earlier, how mechanical energy and heat energy are equal, isn't it? Then a conducting plate free to rotate about a pivot is allowed to swing down like a pendulum through a magnetic field. So that plate is allowed to swing like a pendulum in the magnetic field, constant magnetic field. In each swing, when the plate enters and leaves the field, a portion of its mechanical energy is transformed to heat energy. After several such swings, there is no mechanical energy. So I told you initially that there is no energy left, no mechanical energy left with the pendulum, and the converted heat energy is dissipated in the solid plate, making it warm. So because of this, what happens? The plate becomes warm. Eddy currents can be reduced by discontinuity in the structure of the conductor plate as depicted in the figure C. So we can see that, I'll just tell you how. See here, the slots are made, it is reconstructed in such a way that there are slots, and because of this, the eddy currents are removed. And there is no heating effect, otherwise there is heating effect because the mechanical energy is converted into heat energy. But here because of the eddy currents. But here when it is like this, the eddy currents are not formed. Then the next part which we are going to see is the self-inductance. It's a very important part, self-inductance and mutual inductance. We are going to study in this chapter. Now see here, there is a coil, and then there is a rheostat, a battery and a key. We had seen the primary coil, the same coil is here. And now what happens is, because of the coil, because of the changing magnetic field, the current is induced in the coil itself, and it gives rise to the induced EMF. So the production of the induced EMF in the circuit on account of the change of the current in it is termed as the phenomena of self-inductance. Remember. So consider a circuit or a coil in which current is changing. Okay, take a coil. The changing current will vary the magnitude of magnetic flux. Because of the changing current, the magnitude of the magnetic flux linked with the coil itself changes, and consequently an EMF will be induced in the circuit. So I told you that because of the current, the induced EMF is there in the circuit. The production. Now what is the phenomena of selfness? See here, there is a animation, a diagram is there. The coil is like this taken, and when this key is put here, the current starts flowing. The key is closed, the current starts flowing in this direction. Because of the magnetic flux, there is current, and because of that current, EMF is induced in the same circuit, in the self. So it is called the self-inductance. So the production of induced EMF in the circuit coil itself on account of a change in the current in it is termed as the phenomenon of self-inductance. Now, let at any instant the value of magnetic flux linked with the circuit itself be phi corresponding to current I in it. It is obvious that phi will be proportional to current I. Remember, see here, there is a flux phi, and phi is proportional to I, or phi is equal to Ni. This is L. Now see, phi is proportional to I, that is the current flux. Because of the changing in the magnetic flux, there is a current. So phi is proportional to current I. So next step comes that phi is equal to Li. Li is the constant of proportionality, and that L is equal to phi upon I. Now, where L is the self-inductance, or you can say the coefficient of self-induction of the coil. The flux linkage for a coil with n turns. Now, this was only for single turn, but if there are n number of turns corresponding to I, the equation will be n phi b is proportional to I. So now this, instead of phi, will take n number of turns, this increase. So n phi b is equal to Li. So here L is equal to n number of turns phi b upon I. According to Faraday's law, induction EMF is given by what? E is equal to minus d phi by dt. Now E is equal to minus, now for phi what will write? Li from here. Phi is equal to Li in the Faraday's law. You know Faraday's law, E is equal to minus d pi upon dt. So E is equal to minus d Li upon dt, that is equal to minus L di upon dt. This is the unit of inductance. L is equal to E upon di upon dt, which is equal to, now what is the unit of L? It's very important that we should know the unit of SI unit of L. L is nothing but self, it is the coefficient of self-induction. L. It's very important, E upon di upon dt. So if E is in volt and this is ampere per second, then we have the unit of L as Henry. So this is all about the self-inductance, and next lecture we'll see in details about the self-inductance, mutual inductance, and today whatever we have studied, go through the textbook and read and try to understand the concepts so that you will understand, and derive these equations and try to make a practice of writing. Otherwise you will lose the practice of writing, children. So write the questions, like for today's homework or assignment, you can derive the relation for the induction and energy transfer. What is self-inductance? What is its unit? Write it down. And third one, that is you have to write a note on the eddy currents and what are the uses. You try to find out, go through the net and see what are the uses of eddy currents. So this is all about today, children. Thank you. So once again I repeat the assignment. Write down the relation between the induction and energy transfer. That is here to show that how the mechanical work done of the mechanical energy is equal to the rate of heat energy. The powers, you are just going to equate them at the end. And draw the neat diagram and write it properly. Second, write the note on eddy currents. And third one, what is self-inductance and what is its SI unit. So this is enough for today. Thank you, children. May God bless you all.